Hello, everyone. We're going to get started now. So welcome to our webinar on fake news. The presenter is one of our library development specialists here at the North Dakota State Library, Trevor Martinson, and I'm Angie Hauser, the Continuing Education Coordinator for the State Library, and I'll be your host.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get going. Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending. I hope you weren't too thrown off by our title here for the webinar. We wanted something that seemed fake news-ish because that's our topic today. So just a little bit of background before we get started. I'm self-taught when it comes to fake news. Several months ago, I became interested in this topic and started researching, and I basically haven't stopped since then. Okay, now we can get back to business. I might be going through some of these slides quickly because there's a lot to go over, but the recording will be made available online later. So let's go ahead and get rolling. Fake news can be described as propaganda, a hoax, and/or misinformation that is spread and published on purpose, often using social media with the intent to mislead. Fake news will often utilize eye-catching headlines and images to increase sharing and views. Fake news has been around for a long time. This is really just going to be a very brief overview of its history. I'm just going to mention a couple more modern examples. Yellow journalism is a term that was coined in the 1890s to describe sensational news that is not well researched, but instead strives to be eye-catching and sell more newspapers. This became popular around the time of the Spanish-American War. According to the Wisconsin Historical Society, tall tale postcards emerged in the early 1900s with larger-than-life images of crops and animals, thanks to clever photography and darkroom tricks. A trip to your local convenience store will reveal tabloids containing fictional or less than credible information, often about celebrities, and we have a few examples here. These emerged in the late 1900s and continue to this day. So if fake news is nothing new, why is it such a problem now? Basically, social media. Social media usage has exploded in the last few years. A 2016 survey said 62% of adults get their news from social media, and this number is up from 49% in 2012. Facebook, Twitter, and others have become one-stop shops for sharing content and getting news. But social media can work to the advantage of fake news. Sharing content has never been easier. With the click of a button, you can share something with the world. And with so much information available on social media, it can be easy to skim something or to really only read the headline and not realize it might be fake. People don't always take the time to fact check something before commenting or sharing. Social media may be the fuel to the flame, so to speak, but it cannot be blamed entirely. Other factors to the rise of fake news include the trend of moving away from newspapers, television, and radio to get news, a lack of media literacy, the ease for anyone to create a blog or post stories online, the tendency to trust what is seen on the internet, and the tendency to trust the information received from friends and family. So I think we can all agree that fake news is a problem, but so what? What's the big deal about it? Well, according to a 2016 survey, 88% of adults say fake news is either causing some or great confusion about current events and basic facts. The same report said 1 in 4 adults reported sharing fake news, whether they were aware of it at the time or not. And these numbers are just for adults. Children and teens were not surveyed, but they are also vulnerable to fake news. I want to read a passage from the author of a separate report from Stanford that relates to fake news and children. Many people assume that because young people are fluent in social media, they are equally perceptive about what they find there. Our work shows the opposite to be true. Fake news has sometimes received more views and shares on social media than real news, as evident in this graph. On Facebook, the top fake stories outperformed the top real stories during the presidential campaign. Even journalists, politicians, and celebrities have been known to share or reference fake stories, whether intentionally or not. Fake news can even spiral out of control and lead to violence, like Pizzagate. This term refers to an incident where an individual entered a DC restaurant and fired a weapon. He was there to investigate a story he saw online about Hillary Clinton running a child sex ring in the basement. This story was completely false. So what is the point of fake news? Why is it created in the first place? Money is probably the biggest factor behind fake news. Money comes from advertisements, so the more clicks or views equals more money. And here is an example. In 2016, a teen in Macedonia made $16,000 between August and November with his pro-Trump fake news websites. This is easy money for people living in countries like this with struggling economies. A second big factor behind fake news is humor. Many people will create and share fake stories or images as a joke, but people can often mistake it for real news. And some examples of fake news have an agenda, and others are created for the purpose of damaging reputations. Now, one would think that the term fake news should only be applied to stories that are completely false. But the term has really been expanded and now includes much more than that. There are a few different ways to organize fake news, but generally it can be put into 5 categories. Number 1, slanted or biased. Stories under this category contain truthful elements, but certain facts are selectively chosen or left out to serve an agenda. These stories are not necessarily fake. They report true news, but they do so in a biased way. Certain content from Fox News and MSNBC could fall under this category. And here is an example. Recently, an audiobook clip from Hillary Clinton's book was released. Hillary is the narrator of the audiobook. MSNBC and their panel took the clip and spun it in an anti-Trump way. Fox News and their panel took the clip and spun it in an anti-Hillary way. So the story was true, but it was reported in a biased method. Now, you don't have to avoid these two, Fox News and MSNBC, completely, but just be aware that some biases may exist there. Number 2, misleading. These stories contain no established baseline for truth, but promote an agenda. They will likely take a shred of factual information and run off with it in their own direction. These stories are often taken out of context and seek to upset you. Conspiracy theories and propaganda tend to fit here. And examples include Representative Steve King wanting to investigate everyone but Donald Trump, and maybe you're on his list. I would call this a conspiracy theory. And Black Lives Matter protesters blocking rescue efforts in Texas. This image is taken out of context. It's actually from a 2015 protest in Boston. Number 3, false or deceptive. These are stories that are completely made up. There is no truth to them whatsoever. They are deliberately fabricated to mislead or make money through clicks and views. Entirely fake news websites or imposter sites that are designed to look like real websites fall here, as well as certain chain email and urban legends. And 2 examples of imposter sites include the Denver Guardian and abcnews.com.co. And here are several examples under this category. The first one on the left is Breaking Bad returning for season 6. Notice that the website pretends to be NBC. The Pope endorsing Trump for president. President Obama announcing his plans to run for a third term. And Mr. Rogers being a Marine and wearing sweaters to conceal his tattoos. All of these stories are completely false. Number 4 is manipulated. This category includes content or imagery that has been altered, doctored, or photoshopped. And this is potentially the most entertaining category. Common examples under this category include images of people holding signs with messages. These are popular on social media, especially Facebook. In this example, Bill Gates is promising money if you share his post, which he won't because this is fake. And another example is this awesome but fake image of 2012's Hurricane Sandy. The last category is humor. Stories under this category are intentionally fake, but don't seek to cause harm. They seek to entertain and be humorous, but they do have the potential to fool people. Anything from The Onion is a perfect example of this category. And here's another example. It's no secret that North Dakota can get a lot of snow in winter, so something like this article can easily catch someone's interest because we all eventually get sick of snow here and likely consider taking a flamethrower to our snowbanks. This article has resurfaced on social media each winter since it was first published in 2013. And if you go to the About Us page, you will see that this is a satire website. Now, there are a few quick and easy things you can look for to spot fake news. Factcheck.org and IFLA have great advice on how to spot fake news. They include 1, consider the source. Ask yourself, is this a trusted source of information? And click on the About Us of the website to see what you find there. Number 2, read beyond the headline. You should always read more than just the title. Number 3, check the author. You can do a search on the author and see what else comes up. Number 4, check the supporting sources. And you can ask yourself, are there sources to begin with, and are the sources real? Number 5, check the date. Oftentimes, old stories will resurface on social media. Number 6, is it a joke? Number 7, check your bias. Consider if your own beliefs could affect your judgment. And number 8, ask the professionals. Ask a librarian or use a fact-checking website. The Harvard Library also has some great advice. Number 1, consider the source. Avoid websites that end in LO, like Newslo. Number 2, check the URL. Fake news websites will often pretend to be real sites, but if the URL ends in .com, .co, it is likely fake. Number 3, look for visual clues, like all caps. Number 4, get a second opinion. And number 5, put your browser to work. You can consider installing a browser plugin to help identify fake news. Some examples of plugins include the BS detector, fake news alert, ad detector, and this is fake. Some other things to consider include excessive advertisements, grammar, spelling, and punctuation. And ask yourself, are there other reliable news outlets reporting the same story? Also, be careful with ads that look real. These are screenshots of trustworthy websites with ads that appear by real stories. Look for these headlines above the articles: paid content, sponsored stories, and from the web. While it is almost impossible to stop fake news, we can, however, strive to prevent its spread. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So let's all be part of the solution by following a few simple steps. Read more than just the title. I can't stress this one enough. A great example of why you should read more than just the title comes from NPR. NPR is normally a very reliable source of information, but just a couple years ago, they posted an article to their Facebook page on April Fool's Day titled, "Why Doesn't America Read Anymore?" If you clicked on the article and read it, you would see that the article wasn't real. It was only a test to see if people actually read the article. If you look at the comments, you'll see that hundreds of people commented their opinions without reading the article. Follow the steps from factcheck.org, IFLA, Harvard, and others to identify fake news. Use a fact-checking website like Snopes to put the story to the test. Use the report option on social media to flag fake news. And be responsible and don't try to fool others with fake news. And lastly, think before you share. If you're not sure if it's real, then do not like, share, or comment. And a general rule to live by: when in doubt, chicken out. Also, when in doubt, you can ask the professionals, like librarians. Utilizing librarians, library resources, and library databases is a great way of finding credible sources and information. In fact, a recent survey, and I promise this is the last survey I'll reference, listed libraries as the most trusted source of information. So libraries are in the perfect position to fight fake news. If you're a librarian, promote your library's resources. If you're a patron or student, take advantage of the local or statewide resources available through libraries. And if you're interested in what we have to offer here at the State Library, you can go to our website and then click on the Databases tab. You can't fight fake news without resources or learn about it or teach about it. So here are some of the best online resources on fake news. This is a wonderful resource that was created by an assistant professor of communication and media. It is a comprehensive list of about 1,000 fake news websites. If you're unsure if a website is reliable or not, this is the place to go to check. This is a chart that circulated quite a bit on social media, and this is actually the second edition of the chart. You may disagree with how some of this is put together, but really just take away that be careful with the sources that are at the bottom of this chart. I've mentioned some of these already, but these are the go-to resources on fake news. You can use them to fact-check stories or just to learn more about fake news. Personally, I like Snopes. You can keyword search or use URLs to fact-check. They have a running list of the top 50 questionable stories, and they include more than just political stories. I also want to mention the Truthometer. It's a feature from PolitiFact. You can really have a lot of fun with this. It basically takes quotes from politicians, celebrities, and websites and gives them a rating of true, mostly true, half true, mostly false, false, and pants on fire. I encourage you to explore all of these websites and see what they have to offer. TinEye is an example of a reverse image search. You can use it to find all the locations an image appears online, which can help determine if it has been manipulated or not. All you have to do is upload the image or enter its URL and then hit search. I also have a post on the North Dakota State Library's blog that links to all of the resources I've mentioned. The blog contains all of the information I've presented today and some more. I am constantly updating it with new resources, so if you want to check it out, there are a couple different ways to get here. You can use the link at the top of the slide. You can also go to our website, which is library.nd.gov. And then on the homepage, click on the little orange RSS icon, and then you'll get to our blog. And then you scroll down to the categories. It'll be on the right. And then you click on fake news, and you'll be brought right here. And that's it. We've reached the end. This is my contact information if you have any comments or questions in the future. Do we have any questions in the meantime? And if you think of something later, you can always get a hold of me if you have any questions.
All right. right, we have one question. The first one is there any way to get the clip of the news site's breakdown, the one you stated what was in its second edition?
Yeah, let me go back to that here. That must be this one here. To get the breakdown of this. I think if you go to way at the bottom there, you can see the creator's name. And if you search her name, she has a website where you can, maybe just more of a blog. You can see the first edition of this and the second edition. And I also believe she has something that's blank to where you can kind of use in like a classroom and kind of see where students would place these on her scale. The graphs themselves are linked in my blog post. I can add a link to her website to make it easier for you to find.
And I'll send out the slides when I send out the recording, so you have all of these links available to you.
I'll just go back to my contact information here.
We did get one question. What are the social media sites doing to assist people with spotting fake news pages or sites?
Excellent question. I know Facebook has really been trying to get on top of the ball with fake news. They have the report feature. If you see like an article, you can click on the upper right of like your news feed on that article, and you can report it, and then you can click why you want to report it if it's inappropriate, and there should be some kind of a category that says it's a fake article. I know there's been a lot of debate about Facebook and Google that they're not doing enough to fight fake news. I do have some articles linked on my blog about this if you want to read more about it. They have taken steps forward to, for Google's ads to not appear on fake news websites. But there's still some that come through, and usually anytime some kind of an event happens and fake news is still spread, like most recently with the shooting in Las Vegas, fake news will pop up on Facebook, and Facebook has taken steps to try to make sure those don't appear. There was some that appeared for the Las Vegas shooting. And afterwards, Facebook went in and changed their algorithm to try to improve themselves. So they are working, but there's still a long way to go in that front. Okay, and if you think of something in the future you want to email me, my email here is tjmartinson@ndu.gov. I'd be happy to answer your questions if you would prefer to email me. Okay, I think that's it. I think we'll wrap up. Thanks everyone for attending.